Warcraft Direct's coming up. We know a bunch of announcements are coming with it. Let's talk about everything we know so far for the next patch, 11.0.7. I'm expecting more information to come out about it tomorrow and more things to come out beyond 11.0.7. But right now, this is our next patch. Let's see everything we know so far about the Siren Isles patch, complete zone overview and guide from Mr. GM.
Hello there and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about patch 11.07 and more specifically we're going to talk about the Siren Isle, the brand new zone of 11.07. In this video we're going to go through everything you need to know about this new zone, why we're here, what are the rewards, how you get there, can you fly there? All of those questions will be answered in this video. But before we get into it, I do want to shout out my Twitch, twitch.tv/MrGM. If you want to see me stream The War Within, patch 11.07 PTR and more, on twitch.tv/MrGM. Right, so yes, patch 11.07. This was announced very recently with the addition of the Siren Isle, the return of Plunderstorm, and various other features, which of course we will cover in other videos, but the Siren Isle is the topic of today's video. This is a new mid-season zone, very similar to the Forbidden Reach. If you remember the Forbidden Reach from 10.07, this has some pretty glaring similarities, which are not always a bad thing, really. So this map actually has a really interesting history, as it was originally developed back in Battle for Azeroth as an island expedition. Now, since then, the map has had some pretty major changes. They didn't just plonk it straight from...
Some people got mad about this, but I don't care about them reusing assets to give us new in-game content. If it was never used before and they made the entire thing and it's giving us something new to do, why not use it? Now, I get people are getting sick of the whole, oh, it's a patch, we're going to add another island with World of Island Craft at this time, but I think it's fine. We'll take a new island. It's just a 0.7, patch. If it was an actual, 11.1 and this is what we were getting, I'd be disappointed. But for a 0.07, I'll take it.
From Battle for Azeroth, they did change the landscape, some of the objects, some of the terrain, and things like that, but the base of the island was originally created back in Battle for Azeroth. However, the story quests and the environment, and kind of how it links into the World Soul Saga, is of course new as of 2024, so there's a lot of new stuff here, and some really interesting lore tidbits and tie-ins, which of course I won't spoil too much here. Now, because the Siren Isle was originally an island expedition, it's not exactly the biggest map ever. Now, when you get to the island, you will not have flying. However, flying does get unlocked. Now, we're not sure on the timeline on that, but it will be eventually unlocked on the Siren Isle. But this island does have...
It's an achievement quest. I don't know how long it's going to take to complete the achievement, but it's a bunch of achievements that you do on the Siren Isle. Once you completed them all, you'll unlock flying, but it's only when the storm is not active. And so there's two phases to this island. There's a storm phase and a clear phase. If it's storming, you can't fly. And there's certain things you're going to want to do when it's storming because they're only available when it's stormy. So it's an interesting dynamic.
Two phases, very similar to Korthia. So it has a regular phase with kind of your normal NPCs, which do rotate every week. But it also has a storm phase. Now, the storm phase is something you could just choose to join at any point. And it is, just the same island, just with a storm. You can't fly in this phase even if you have...
I wonder if they're going to keep it this way. At this point, they might. But currently, I thought that this was just for testing purposes. They were allowing you to pick which phase the island was in. But maybe I'm wrong. I thought eventually it would switch over to just the island switching on its own. But I guess it could be just this pit thing you pick forever.
Have it unlocked, and the NPCs and monsters and daily quests will be different in here and a lot tougher, of course. So yeah, it is kind of nice to have those two phases, as it makes the island feel a little bit bigger than it actually is. Now, getting to the island is pretty simple. There's just a very short quest in Donegal, which will take you to a new Zeppelin point and a new flight to the Siren Isle. This actually becomes a teleport after you've done the intro quest, but there's also a mole machine in Gundaraz in the Ringing Deeps, which will take you directly to the Siren Isle as well. And as of the recording of this video, we don't know the specific location of the map, as it is not on the world map. However, it might end up joining it. I don't think it will, though. I think it might just end up being kind of its own thing. To access the map at the moment, all you have to do is click the little circle on the Isle of Dawn map, similar to how we had with Nazjatar and stuff in Battle for Azeroth. So let's talk about the gameplay of the Siren Isle. What are we doing here? So this island obviously has rares and treasures. It has many secrets, which of course aren't on the PTR. It has daily quests and it has some weekly quests. It also has one world quest, similar to Mechagon. If you you remember that. That resets
nice.
every 3 days. Once you complete that world quest, that actually opens up a special assignment quest, which gives you access to the storm phase. So the storm phase needs to be unlocked every 3 days through this weekly quest, which is just like a fill the bar quest. So a pretty easy quest to do. On top of that, there's a new system called major excavations. So there's 3 caves on the island, and basically what you do here is that everyone on the island contributes to a bar. Once that bar is filled, the NPC in the cave...
Okay, this reminds me of, what's it called? Back in the Emerald Dream when you used to contribute to the seed, the pollen shit. You know, you get the pods and everyone would contribute to them to try to get loot. I wonder if it affects your loot. I gotta look at this again. If you contribute enough to it, do you get better loot or something? Because that was the motivation back in the Emerald Dream, was like, if you contribute to it, you will get more loot. So I hope that's
Once
the case.
that bar
Otherwise,
is filled, the
shit.
NPC in the cave does spawn. You go over to the cave, you kill the mini-boss, and that's kind of your weekly
Oh,
thing. On the
Naquid,
PTR at the
up?
moment, you can actually kill it over and over, as well as the rares, which I'm not sure is actually intended. But yeah, at the moment, you can just kill it over and over. But essentially, yeah, you fill the bar, kill the rare in the cave, and then you get the loot, and there are various achievements linked to that, of course.
Nice.
This island does also have its own currency. This is called Flame Blessed Iron. This is in the currency tab, thankfully. This is a warband transferable currency with no transfer tax, so it is a one-to-one transfer.
That's good, and they really took the model, as I said before, from the Missa Pandaria remix currency here, where this currency is going to be used to buy transmog, buy mounts, and upgrade your ring. I think that's the what's it called, Circe's amulet, whatever the hell it's called. That's going to be the thing that you're going to use this to upgrade and stuff like that. So that's a good. It's a multi-use currency. I'm not ready for snow. I know, neither am
between
I.
your alts, which
We
is
haven't
nice.
snowed here
And
yet.
this comes from literally everything. It comes from dailies, weeklies, rares, NPCs. Literally anything on the island will give you this currency, and you're going to get a lot of it, and you're going to need a lot of it, because everything that you purchase on the island requires
Nice,
it. And
Doctor, what's
that
up?
major excavation system I told you a second ago, you need it for that as well to contribute to the bar. But you do get a ton of this currency, so hopefully it won't be too bad of a grind. So let's talk about rewards on the Siren Isle. Why are we here? What are we doing? So the most important reward from this island is a new ring called Circe's Circlet. Now this ring is...
Circlet. I called it amulet. Shit, isn't an amulet like a necklace or something? I don't even know what I'm saying half the time. Yeah, Circe's Circlet. Okay.
Extremely similar to the Onyx Amulet from the Forbidden Reach. Now, this is unlocked very quickly.
That's where I got amulet from. The Onyx Amulet is literally what this thing was. We got the Onyx Amulet back on Forbidden Reach and Dragon Isles. It was a necklace that became best in slot for everybody. Now this ring is going to do the same thing.
Through the intro quest line. I think you get it about 7 minutes into the questing, depending on how long it takes you to do it. This is actually one of the first rings in World of Warcraft to actually show up on your character. So when you have this ring on, you can see it on your finger, which is actually really cool, and kind of probably the start of something beautiful where we're going to get transmoggable rings, I'm sure, at some point. So similar to the Onyx Amulet, this does have 3 sockets. You have 3 different types of sockets. You have Thunder, which is the yellow one, you have Sea, which is blue, and you have Wind, which is red. Now, what's nice about this is that you can swap and change the sockets whenever and wherever you want, which is nice. So you literally just right-click it and this socket.
Oh, good. Blizzard learns lessons, man. That's good. You guys remember in freaking Shadowlands when they came out with those damn, what is it, those shards or whatever? The sharts? Whatever the fuck those things were called. And you had to buy the little spoon thing to take them out because people were getting annoyed that they had to break them to get them out. Man, hey, at least they're learning. At least they're learning. That's a good thing. So yeah, you're just going to be able to hot swap these whenever you want. That's great.
Socket comes
That's
out.
how it should
As
be.
of the recording of this, there are 12 sockets to collect, and they're rewarded from various different types of gameplay. Some just from basic quests, some from secrets, some from rares, some from weekly quests and daily quests and things like that. But there are a lot of sockets available, and some of them do just give you a straight stat boost, which is something the Onyx Amulet did not have. So it is nice to see that coming in. Now, the unlocks for the sockets appear to be account-wide, and you will be able to purchase them from vendors on alts once they are unlocked. But that system's not currently in the PTR, but it's safe to assume that's how it's going to work. Now, Blizzard devs did say that this ring will be good in Season 1, but it will also be very good at the start of Season 2 of The War Within, which is exciting. Now, the item level that this begins at is 619, which is, of course, equivalent to Heroic Raid. Now, this ring does get upgraded from quests. Now, these are potentially weekly quests on the PTR.
Although I feel like if it's that important, it should be higher than 619, but I guess 619 is fine.
They're all available, but I would imagine these will either unlock weekly or you get a couple of them weekly. But the cap right now on the ring is 639, which is the end of Myth Track gear.
Nice.
So the absolute pinnacle of gearing right now. This is what the ring can go up to. Now, you're not upgrading the individual sockets. You're literally just upgrading the ring. So as you upgrade your ring, your sockets inside the ring will also upgrade.
And you upgrade the ring, I believe, with the current imbued the circlet with a raw magical citrine. Okay, so this increases your item level, not the currency, I guess. So maybe I misspoke there, or maybe you can buy some of these with the currency. I know the currency is somewhat related to the item level in a way. I just haven't figured out how yet.
Automatically, which is super nice. Of course, the Onyx Amulet did have some controversy about it. People weren't that happy with it. Some people were really happy with it. So hopefully Blizzard have taken that feedback from 10.07 and are applying it in 11.07. So beyond the awesome ring, you are going to get some catch-up gear on the Isle. Now, this catch-up gear is Warbound, but it is Veteran. So that starts at 584.
Oh, hey, look, you're still getting Bronze Celebration tokens. That's pretty good for the transmog, for the tier sets and mounts and everything else if you haven't gotten them yet.
To 606. Throughout the island, you will also get Valor Stones and Weathered Crest to upgrade that veteran gear. Now, you can actually purchase this gear from a vendor using the Flame Blessed Iron, but you can also get it randomly dropped throughout the Isle through basically everything, so it comes from quests.
So that's what that could be used for, too. The currency can be used to buy some gear for your slots, I guess, if you're behind.
It comes from those rares. It just drops from random NPCs as well, so you're going to get a lot of this catch-up gear. As mentioned, it is Warbound, so you can just send it to your alts if they are requiring some veteran gear on a fresh level 80, which is kind of nice. The appearance of this gear is a recolor of the Khazalgar dungeon gear, so if you're after some transmog, you will have to grab that. As of the PTR, you can't currently catalyze it, but I'm sure that is an oversight. So once you got your ring and your catch-up gear, what else is there? Well, there's a ton of cosmetics. In the last PTR build, they added a ton of cosmetic items, and no doubt they will probably add some more. So all of these cosmetics are purchasable with various amounts of flame-blessed iron. So let's go through some of them. So there are various recolors of the beach and summer wear from the trading post, including a pink recolor of the water gun transmog. There are basic earthen backpacks, basic earthen offhands, a silver version of the awakened three-piece set. There are tabards for each of these zones of Khazalgar. There are pirate-themed ensembles. There are pirate hats. There are even
Man, that's some pretty cool stuff. All the pirate stuff, too, considering Plunder Storm's coming out as well.
Used recolors of ensembles and weapons from older expansions that fit the theme of the island. Basically, this island is full of unused things which are finally being used in WoW, and honestly, I do not have a problem with that. More the merrier, and it's great to see some of these things which were created many years ago finally coming into the game. Speaking of which, let's talk about mounts. So as of right now, there are 4 different mounts available on the Siren Isle. So the first one is Swezi's Vintage Wave Shredder. This is going to set you back 10,000 Flame Blessed Iron. This is a recolor of the surfboard, which I believe originally popped up on the trading post, so we are getting that one finally. You also have the Prismatic Snapdragon, which is unlocked through a quest line, it seems, and this mount does actually change color, similar to the cat from Mechagon.
Oh, cool. I wonder, does this thing swim? This thing looks like it should be able to swim, but it probably doesn't. It's probably not that cool, but it's a nice looking mount. I like the board, too.
Which is fun. You also have the big ticket reward, which is Three Eyes of the Siren.
Badass.
Now, this mount is actually a unused model from patch 5.4 of Mr. Pandaria. This is unlocked through a secret where you obtain 5 different rune stones throughout the island, and I will probably do a guide nearer the time. It has been figured out on the PTR, but yeah, nearer the time of the patch launch, I'll be doing a full guide on how to get this mount. It's a very nice looking mount. It's not going to take you too long to get either, and a fun little secret, of course. The final mount is the Breaker's Song. So this is actually a recolor and a slight redesign of the Dreadwake, and this is the meta achievement mount for the Siren Isle, which is a perfect segue to talk about achievements. So currently, as of PTR, there are around 6 achievements for the Siren Isle, including a meta achievement. Now, unlike some meta achievements from previous zones, looking at you, Mechagon, this is fairly achievable. There is one achievement where you have to do all the weekly quests, but even that won't be too bad. But there really is nothing too crazy on this meta achievement, which is really nice. You just got to play the zone, kill the rares, and obtain gems for the ring. This is also part of the new 11.0 meta achievement, which I will do a full guide about.
I'm guessing the story is going to continue here, because that you Zal Not Pass sounds like more Zalateth related stories, so I'm sure we're going to get some iterations on what's happening in Azeroth right now. Considering that the last thing we were left off was, we kill Queen Ansarek and that's it? And then we got to figure out what's happening next, right? Zalateth, we kind of screwed her plan over by freeing Khadgar from her grasp and all that shit. Okay, so now what? Yeah.
out very, very soon on the channel, so keep an eye out for that. And that's it. That is the Siren Isle in 1107. Now, I've seen people been pretty negative about the zone, saying it's too small, there's nothing to do, things like that. I think the zone is fine. It's something for nothing. As said, there's a lot of kind of reused assets here, which haven't been in the game before, and as a collector, there's going to be a ton for me to do as we roll into 11.1, which is due to come out like probably around February next year. We also have Plunderstorm in 1107 coming back, and Turbulent Time Waves, so there's going to be tons to do as well on top of the Siren Isle. Of course, Circe's Circlet seems good. It's probably going to get some changes as we progress through the PTR. We've only had 2 builds as of the recording of this, and they're still adding tons of stuff to the Siren Isle. But I did want to make a general overview of the zone just to give a better idea of what's going on this isle, and I hope I covered everything that you're wondering. But guys, thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please do leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to support me outside of YouTube, I'm also on Patreon, and I'm on Twitter at MrGMYT, and I have a partner Discord channel as well. And I'm also streaming on twitch.tv/MrGM.
That's right.
If you want to see me stream World of Warcraft, patch 1107 PTR, patch 11.1 PTR, maybe soon as well, which is exciting. Please do check me out on twitch.tv/MrGM. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time.
Good video. Yeah, 11.0.7 when? Well, the Blizzard hasn't officially come out with it, but the last thing that we got basically was the splash screen. And the splash screen says that the Winter Veil event is starting soon and 11.0.7 has begun. So that means if 11.0.7 starting soon, or has begun, before the Winter Veil event begins, as that splash screen indicates, Winter Veil event's supposed to start December 17th. So I would assume that 11.0.7 is going to come out then early December. Either that Tuesday, December 3rd, or Tuesday, December 10th might be the launch date for 11.0.7, but we'll have to see. Overall, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to happen before the new year, so that's cool. Nice little way to finish out the end of the year, along with all the anniversary shit we already got going on.